Good afternoon, vaqueros. My name is Jared Galindo, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Gerson. And today we are interviewing some awesome staff from the lectures from the Writing and Language and Studies Department. Here we have a few awesome, just great professors that I definitely had when I was a freshman, and I highly consider you maybe look at their name and register for their courses if you're interested in anything in the Writing and Language and Studies department. But I'll go ahead and have them each introduce themselves, and hopefully we can start talking more about NovaRhet.
Hi, I'm Cindy Lopez Guerrero. I do teach in the writing program, English 1301 and 1302, and sometimes I teach creative writing courses.
Hi, I'm Tomas Guerrero. I also teach English 1301 and 1302, and every once in a while, a 3342 technical communication course.
Hi, my name is Marcela Hebbard, and I teach 1301, 1302, mostly 1302s, linguistic course 3370, language and culture.
I'm Charles Mcgregor. I also teach a variety of 1301 and 1302s, and also creative writing courses every once in a while.
So I believe NovaRhet is right around the corner. What could you all tell us about what it is and how it was founded, and kind of, I guess, what the main goal of it is?
I think it'd be best to start where it started, where I believe, Marcela, you approached us with an opportunity to go to San Antonio to have a kind of training, professional training in developing these types of programs, right, Marcela? Do you want to walk us through how that came upon your desk?
Sure. I'm part of the research committee with Charles. So we were in that committee, and we were looking for opportunities to enrich and add more research in our university, more research experiences, especially in our writing courses. And so we came across this training. It's a 3-day training back in 2019 in a national organization, the Undergraduate Research Council. And so I shared with Charles. So we were like, yeah, that. So he said, yeah, Thomas and Cindy might be interested as well. So I said, let's do it, because we need a group, and we need to get trained in these things. And so that's how we started. So, and then we formed the team of 4, and we have been working together since then. So it's been really cool.
Yeah. Eventually, we also received a grant too. So we were able to procure some funds, and then we started thinking, well, we have this gap in our pedagogy where we want our students to share their work in a larger platform rather than just in the classroom, which isn't bad. But the fact that we would have this larger platform for them to share their voices would probably help them see their impact of their work in a larger setting. And we've done kind of things like that before, and it's really been very effective for them. And so we decided we want to kind of fill that gap using the grant that we received and create this event, and it's called NovaRhet. So yes, it is coming up. It's the very first iteration of it. It is going to be virtual. We did plan for it live originally, but then I don't know if everyone's aware, but there was a global pandemic. And so we had to change all of our plans and make it virtual this first time around. And eventually we'll go back to being a live thing that happens in the quad on the UTRGV grounds in Brownsville and Edinburgh. But right now it is virtual. We're really, really excited about it.
And
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
Who's going?
You go.
I'm so confused. Okay, I was gonna ask. So what is it all about? What's gonna happen there?
It'll be really cool. That's all people need to know.
It's going to be cool, and only cool people are going to attend, Gerson. So if you need more information than that, then you're probably asking the
That's
wrong
it.
questions.
Yeah.
No,
If you need to ask questions, then just don't bother.
exactly. No, actually, it's open to everybody. So like Cindy mentioned, we're the kind of teachers who, when we look at when we work with our students, and we like to phrase it that way, because when we teach, we know pedagogically, and we have the training that says if we treat our students like they are receptacles of knowledge, it doesn't work, right? Especially with things like writing, with writing and developing rhetoric, you need practice, right? Like you need exposure to different activities that kind of showcase the amount of impact your writing can have, right? Because we have a lot of students who don't believe that they are writers when they start our class. And then by the end of it, they've gone through so much that they're like, oh, I actually do have these skills, right? So when we treat them as partners in developing these conversations on paper and through other means and projects, through other modes, we notice that it has an impact in their perception of their capabilities, and it bolsters that confidence. So NovaRhet came from, let's make that impact bigger. And we've had different programs in the past. We had, I'm going to blank on the names, but Compicon, and I think Mr. De La Cruz's Redx. So we had programs like that in the past where every other semester we had something kind of big planned for our students to participate in, and that was always the goal, right? And so we kind of really went back to the drawing board, and we said, what can we create to make sure that our students feel that their work has impact? Because it will eventually have impact, right? And I don't mean eventually like, in 4 years once they graduate, but as they go through their time at the university, their ideas will change, people will change with them, the community will change, and they can be a part of that conversation instead of being bystanders or being dragged around by what's going on. And they become more active in their engagement. So NovaRhet is going to be a relatively large event in which all of our 1302s, hopefully all of our, as many 1302s as we can get, will submit an abstract and a project to NovaRhet. We will kind of filter those and figure out a schedule around live events and non-live events. So synchronous and asynchronous projects. We will be hosting the asynchronous projects on NovaRhet.com, and we will be hosting a 2-day live event where people from the community can jump in and watch students present these research projects that they've been working on all semester, including our 1301s who were, in 1301, we're still kind of working on developing their own awareness of their skills. So when they watch these 1302 students who are just a mere semester ahead presenting all this amazing stuff, they get to go, oh, our stuff matters, right? And our 1302 students get an audience to go, oh, wow, we're having impact on somebody. And that feeling is something you can't replicate very easily. So NovaRhet is that opportunity for our students. At least that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, so there will be a schedule on the NovaRhet website where we have the live events that will happen. We'll have panels, we'll have student-led presentations, and then there will also be an area where there will be visual projects. So those are the asynchronous projects. So if a student, say, creates an art piece, there will be images of it. And if they create a podcast, there will be a link to it. If they create a video, there will be a link to that too. So it's just a little virtual space where the students show off what they have been creating in their English 1302 courses for this larger audience.
And to add to that, maybe your audience is wondering, like, what NovaRhet, what is in the name? And so, most of the time when the students enter our classes, they come with this idea that writing is just text. It happens in alphabetic characters. And so for us, we would like the students to know, those students are watching this podcast, that writing is more than that. That's what we call it, Nova. nuevo, new, rhetoric. So this idea of communication, what makes communication, and communication goes beyond just the orthographic text, but it also involves images, videos, audio. So that is part of what we want our students to learn in our writing classes. That writing, broadly defined as we use it in our classes, is beyond that. And also it requires language, not necessarily only English, but also other languages. And so many of them in our community are bilingual, right? And not necessarily Spanish, although the majority of bilingual students in the area are Spanish English speakers. But once in a while we also have other athletes, and they have English, Finnish, or some African language. And we also want them to understand that writing is not necessarily or focusing on English, but they write in their native languages as well when they reach out to their communities and their families. So that's part of writing, and that's part of who we are as writers. So NovaRhet wants to highlight those ideas, and also the projects that our students do. So basically it's really for students, and so know that we think about you.
And then part of the goal too going into it was to specifically highlight first-year college students, because we feel like they're an underrepresented voice in a lot of academic formats, like an academic conference like this one. So that's why we're taking highlighting 1302 students as well, and going back to the multi-form projects, letting them know that, hey, there's a lot of research out there that's interested in visual rhetoric and other forms that come off the page. So it's not just we're not just doing this for fun, but there's scholarship behind that. And if you're interested in joining that academic conversation, your ideas will be validated in that area of academia.
That's great. I feel like most of, so I was going to say this earlier, but I feel like most of my memorable times in my 1301 and 1302 classes were those moments where we took things interactive, and we had like a scavenger hunt at the library, or I think we even had like a NovaRhet thing where we presented in the lobby of the library, like all of our works and stuff. So I don't remember anything else from like my other courses I was taking, but that stuff
Right.
specifically remember, that's ingrained in me, and it's gonna stay with me for a while. And for sure, I feel like I wish more departments did stuff like this. Not calling anyone out, but
yeah, we definitely wanted to keep the best features of kind of those past iterations, like what you're talking a lot about was what we used to do in Compicon. And yeah, we feel like,
oh yeah, I remember
that. Yeah, so we feel like that a lot of those hands-on moments and those moments where students can have a voice and have a research voice and present it to others is really valuable and definitely carried over into this conference.
Yeah, I think those things made my classes very fun and memorable too. I remember in high school I didn't like my English classes so much, reading and writing, but yeah, I had class with Mr. Tomas de la Cruz, and it was a really fun class. It was really cool.
Yeah,
I was gonna.
Oh, go for it.
No, go ahead.
So like Charles mentioned, one of the things that we've learned is the amount of impact those moments have, and that's what we're looking for, right? Is to have moments with our students. Jerry is mentioning his experiences in 1301 and 1302 in those activities, right? And those moments of interaction. And one thing that we definitely wanted NovaRhet to have is to feel like an activity that feels like interaction with a larger community. And we know that there are power in these moments, and we've read quite a bit of literature that discusses how those moments have impact, right? Because you can have the worst trip to Disney World that you've ever had. Like the plane ride was terrible. You know, everybody was coughing and sick. You know, post COVID, of course. But then you get on a ride and you come home and like after 3 or 4 days, you come home and you don't remember the bad stuff. You only remember the good stuff, right? Like, oh, I don't remember the plane being that bad. Of course not, right? Your brain is focused on those happy moments. So what we want to have with NovaRhet is to have those moments that are ingrained in you that last. And one of the great things that we kind of base this activity on, or the symposium on, is those moments where our in class we'll have these large presentations where instead of having one person go up one at a time, we have like, you know, almost like a science fair style presentation, and students are always so nervous, like the days before, the weeks before. They are so, they're like, sir, I don't know if I'll be there. I was like, it's part of your, you know, I don't like to use the grade thing as a reason to stay, but you know, it works. But more importantly, they come and then they have this large event, and they're interacting with people more than they thought they would, and there's outside guests, and by the end of it, they're like, sir, we should have been doing that more often. And it's like, yeah. So we base NovaRhet off of those moments, because like what we hope is that they have moments like Jerry, right, where they could still look back a few years from now and go, I don't remember much about my freshman year, but I remember Comic-Con, I remember Red X, I remember NovaRhet, and that's what we're shooting for.
So
we won't tell Tomas de la Cruz about, you know, what you just shared with us. So he doesn't get a good a big head.
I was gonna ask, so it's open to all students in 1301, 1302?
1301 will be the guests, so they will be able to go for sure. The presenters, we're gonna, I don't want to say limit, but we will keep it a 1302 space. Just because it will happen every semester. So all 1301 students who are present now, they're gonna take 1302 eventually. And so they'll get their chance to present as well. And then we want to make sure that this is a platform for freshman students. Just like Charles mentioned, we feel like they're a population that might not get as many opportunities to do these kinds of things as older students. So yeah, we're focusing more on English 1302 students being the presenters, but everybody else is welcome to join in on as an audience member.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do envision, like, maybe a year or two down the road, like kind of expanding who presents, right? We do want to do like multi-discipline presentations from first year students, and even long term would like it to be like a transnational conference, and like hook up with like students from across the border to have that kind of like transnational community that that's able to present. But that's our future long-term goal. Yeah.
And also, you know, for this year, it's open to the community. You know, we're gonna showcase the work of 1302 students in the classes, but the event is open for anyone. We want to target 1301 students to be the audience, so they know what's coming for them. So, but it's open also to the general public. I think it's important for our community outside the institution because of our first year experience. You know, many of the students are first generation in college, and their families are not very aware what's going on at the university. So we want to also share with their families so they can connect. It's just a click away to see what freshman students in 1302 classes are doing, and to understand more about what is this thing called university, at least in writing classes, right? So it's open for anyone.
And I believe NovaRhet is going to be on the 21st and 22nd of April. So if you, I guess, is there a submission, is there like a deadline for submissions for 1302 students?
Yes. Let me look at the date to remind myself what that is.
I do know all projects need to be in by April 16th, the final versions. So that way we can have time to put everything up on the website as organized as possible. And then we'll be ready to go by the 21st and the 22nd. I forget the date of the abstracts.
It's
That's-
Friday, the April 2nd.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So, students in their enroll in their 1302 classes to submit just a basic paragraph describing their projects. So that is the first step. So they just need to submit a paragraph. And we are reaching out to our colleagues that are teaching their 1302. So as, to encourage their students, but also to help them understand that a small paragraph, right? We call that in the academic world abstract, but it's really a description of your project. Okay, so that is what the students were asking them to do by April 2nd. And then that give us an idea like, okay, so all these projects, this is what we can expect. And then by April 16, like Cindy said, we would like to have either the recordings or, their work, already finished. So we can start uploading it or creating or building it in the website and in the live sessions.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds fun, and honestly, like I feel like with COVID, it is sad that these events have to be a little virtual, but it's all about looking forward to the future and adapting. And this could also be a silver lining for, I don't know, for students that can attend a live session regardless of COVID. It's fantastic that you all already have developed an online-esque like infrastructure for the event. And I'm definitely looking forward to, I guess, the live events and things that happen on the days of the actual conference.
We're very
Well,
excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're incredibly excited. We want to say thank you to having us. We really appreciate this podcast in general and being able to speak to first year students who are jumping into this new experience. And I think one thing that they should know is none of these projects or none of these things that we're doing are like sink or swim, right? We're there to help you learn through these experiences and gain this experience cooperatively. And we want to make sure that our students know that no matter what you were told in high school, your professors are here to help you succeed. And I hope that becomes more clear as they go along through this experience. So, but thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Gerson, for having us. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I think it was very informative, and I'm looking forward to it as well.